Do you say, if I had her eyes or his eyes, I would get the job? If I only had the body that person had, maybe their house, their car, their income, if I only had the family or the children that they had, I would get this job. I would have maybe been the president of the United States or governor or mayor. If I only had graduated from high school like someone else did, or graduated from an Ivy League college, would I have the position or have the business? If I only had the body, would I have that man, that relationship that she is in? If you've had thoughts like that or said things like that, then you could be dealing with the weeds of envy and jealousy. Now, in episode 64 of the Seeds We Plant from Create a Generational Love Cycle, I talked about envy. And envy and jealousy go hand in hand. They are similar weeds. When you think about envy, you think about the desire to have what someone has. And jealousy is more about the fear of losing what you have. But when we think about jealousy and we look at the Webster Dictionary, it also goes on to say or use words like unfaithfulness or hostile toward a rival or believing that they have the advantage, something that you don't have. I've mentioned before that weeds attract other weeds in that they are similar. They need nourishment. And so they too will drain the nourishment, the spiritual nourishment from your spiritual seeds that enable you to be yourself, true self expression. And so, my name is Timika Chambers, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast, Create a Generational Love Cycle. I thought about Mother Teresa when she said, I don't want to be against war, I want to be for peace. And so, when you think about the law of attraction or you think about your mindset, you want to focus on what it is you want to create. We don't say, well, I don't want to be broke. The key or the more positive way of saying it or attracting what you want to say, I want wealth. I desire wealth. I am wealth. And so create a generational love cycle. That's what this podcast is about, is recreating this love that we were created from. We are here to reflect the truth. We are here to reflect love. And life experiences, our perception, let me clarify, of our life experiences can have us drawing weeds that will limit us or can limit us from true self expression. So we've talked about if you had those questions, because I know when I growing up, I had a single mom, and I've shared this before. I was raised by a single mom, and there are a lot of people in the neighborhood I grew up in. There were a lot of people that didn't have a father or was raised by their grandmother. So being in that environment, you saw other people that didn't have a lot of things, but there are others who did, and it's so tempting to become jealous of them, to envy what they have, if only I was this pretty, if only I had this mother and father, my life would be different. And to compare your life to another, because jealousy and envy go together. And when you start comparing your life to others, you start minimizing who you are and what you're capable of being, of growing, of doing here on earth. That just like the other person or persons you are comparing yourself to or desiring what they have, they too was made in the image of our creator. I believe that. And so if that is the belief, then we know that just like that other person, I am fully capable of bringing something great into my life and the life of others. That I too have abilities, gifts, and talents. That I too have a specific path. My path may not look like somebody else's journey. We go out and we see all these different movies of different lives, And they all have an underlying theme to them. If you think about it, the underdog, Rocky. If you think about, oh gosh, there's a movie about Velma, I believe, the unicorn. And when you think about all these different movies and soap operas and things that we've seen, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and these people that you didn't think that had maybe a low self-esteem or weren't confident, or you didn't think they were capable of doing. We're going to see the goat this Thursday. It's going to be on Netflix. But you think about all these lives that you were considered the one who was least likely to make it, or least likely to do something, right? The underlying theme is that we realize that they are more powerful than we originally thought. You too are more powerful than you originally think. There's no comparison to your life. Everybody has a spiritual genetic blueprint and a human genetic blueprint. So we have all the genes of our ancestors and everything that creates who we are, and we decide what we want to use. Underlying that are our gifts and abilities, and we have specific ways of presenting those gifts and abilities. So no one can be alike because their genetic makeup is different. So it's like God, or whoever you may use as our creator, created us with this mixture of ingredients: jazz, musician, dancer, teacher, coach, everything from your Aunt May, Uncle John, great grandmother, great 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 grandfather, everything that we have, and interweaving that together and putting his special sauce into it, that we cannot fail. That the world may say, if you don't have this certain amount of income, if you don't live in this home or this environment, if you don't grow up with these parents, if you don't have this education, then you're considered less than. But we've also too heard stories of basketball players, musicians, Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, all of these people that came up from literally not much, but had a gift, and they believed in that gift enough that they were able to bring it to fruition. And when we are focused on what others have instead of what we have, we scatter our energy. We're not fully standing firm in our being. Often we're not focused enough because we're thinking about what someone else has instead of saying, okay, I have something too. And it's great that that person is successful. You're grateful for what you see, what they're doing, because then you know that just like them, that they can do it, I can do it, but it may not look like what they are doing, but it's going to feel successful to me. See, we don't have to go out and get $1 million or a six-figure job just so we can be in alignment with what somebody else has, their home, their cars, because you go and you get this job and you hate the job. Every day you're waking up and you're feeling like, I don't want to be here, but I'm here working because this is how I can match my life to what that other person has, instead of really utilizing our gifts, our abilities, and our talents, because that's where true success comes from, along with character, morals, virtues. And jealousy is not a virtue. Jealousy is, to me, a weed, something that really robs you from your true self. And so we can go out here and do things because we want to keep up with what other people are doing, because we want to feel good about ourselves. But we're actually doing the very opposite, where we're into something that is really life draining. And we feel like we need to take on more activities: gambling, drinking, whatever it may be, overindulging, overworking out, overeating, undereating, self punishment, inner hatred. We're inviting all those other weeds because we are far from being our true selves. And it's all because of comparing or being jealous or envy of someone else's life, feeling like we're not good enough, feeling like we don't have the ability to bring about or to facilitate true self expression. And so we can attract those other weeds that I talked about. Then we're dealing with inner hatred. We're dealing more with um, bitterness and resentment, vengeance, even. And you've seen jealousy act out in many ways. And I'm not here to bring that or elevate violence in any way, shape, or form. If anything, to dissolve it by uprooting these weeds, daily assessing our inner garden and seeing what thoughts are coming to mind. How am I feeling about this person's success? Do I feel angry when I hear about them? Do I feel like it's not fair? Do I feel like I want to do something more because of what they have? That I have to release anger, whatever it may be, because our bodies, our mind sends us symptoms when we are off key, when we're not fully into our form or aligned with the source of life and being and the divine plan, the blueprint that we have for our lives. That we may have the foundation and structure, but it's up to us to really take on those thoughts that's going to make our inner garden what it is, that's going to make our home what it is, because there's a blueprint, right? We know the log go here, the kitchen goes here, the stands go here, the glue goes here, whatever it may be. But it's through our thoughts, the ones that we decide to accept and reject. It's through those thoughts that we cultivate this special, unique being, that we can choose that no matter what, I know that I am good enough. No matter what, I know that my life has meaning and purpose. No matter what, the reason I am here because I am supposed to be here. The reason I have this nose, these eyes, these lips, is that it is part of that divine plan that says no matter what shape or form I am in, I can still be successful. That's the underdog. That's the human life, the journey to unveil the truth that is within us. Because every plant, every seed starts out really small, right? You look at that seed and you look at that, you're like, how in the heck can something grow from something as little as this? But then you daily you cultivate that soil. You remove those rocks, those weeds, you pull up those, you identify those. Daily you go out, you assess your garden. You have that scheduled time that you go and assess and see, okay, what is in my garden that is preventing me from fully growing or cultivating this plant to producing this wonderful nourishing fruit. And jealousy can be one that will wrap itself around you, dig deep into that heart, that inner soil, that you don't even that you forget who you are. So we have to refocus through truths, many of which I've already mentioned. I am good enough. I'm here because I need to be here, because the divine wants me here. I'm in the shape and form because this is the shape and form I need to be in. To say nothing defines me. No experience, nothing, no how I was raised, what I was raised around, my parents, my ancestry, the money that I have, nothing defines me. That I choose what thoughts, how I want to present myself this lifetime. I choose those thoughts. And in the power of realizing that you don't have to be jealous of people, you don't have to compare yourself. There is no competition, not even in twins. There's a difference, there's a different path. And so when you realize that, you realize your power of choice. I choose the thoughts that I want to have. And that is how we begin to realign with the source of life. Because the truth is always available to us. It's us that tend to turn away from it. And so when we realign ourselves, we begin to see who we truly are. Begin to invite those quiet moments that we can assess our thoughts and to pause them and to reshape them or to totally loose them. We invite truths about our being. We remember the things that we enjoyed. We remember that there are specific things that we know how to do, and we make time to really focus on our abilities, our gifts, and our talents. That doesn't mean that we have to leave a job right then and there, but to say, hey, you know what? I really want to do what I'm here to do. I'm really curious, because those are those things that we have as a child: curiosity, right? We're curious about what it is that I can do. And we often will lose that for wherever means. It could be projected pain. Maybe you were curious about something and someone projected their pain somehow on you. But often we can bury our gifts and our talents through our perception of that pain. And it's time to heal ourselves. Where does this jealousy stem from? How can I put my life experiences in a healthy perspective? Not to lie about it, not to say it didn't happen, not to be in denial. But I believe in everything there is something to learn about ourselves. There's something to be grateful for. And there's something that pain that we have, pain and purpose, becomes our platform. And when we realize that, we build our confidence. Rebuild our focus. We rebuild our determination, our perseverance. And we spend less time thinking about what others have and more time concentrating, focusing, diligently working on, having faith that we don't see it, but we know it, that my life has meaning and purpose. And if I just stick to it and continue to work on it, eventually it will unfold. My purpose will unfold itself. It's already doing it as we speak. It's just that sometimes our attention is turned on other things. And that's what happens when we are jealous of one another. And so there is no competition. You have within you unique abilities, gifts, and talents. I encourage you through this podcast to stop looking outside of yourself and start looking within. What are you here to do? What magnificent thing you're here to do? What purpose? What is your divine purpose? And how will you accomplish that? And that's where our time needs to be spent on. That's where we look inward. And when we look inward, we begin to heal ourselves and we begin to express ourselves in the most truest form. This is Timika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. And I hope this podcast, this series, The Seeds We Plant that I do on Wednesdays, has been beneficial to you in talking about uprooting the weed of jealousy and comparison so that we can go on and do the things that we're here to do. All right. I'll talk to you soon. The Inner Garden is out. I will have the link in this podcast, and it's also on my website, TamikaSChambers.com. It's time to take back our life. It's time to get rid of things that's not working for us and really, really align with the source of life and be who we were always meant to be. I'll talk to you soon.